Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this video is probably my most highly requested video. I feel like whenever I do a Q&A on Instagram, someone is asking me about motherhood, how it's been, Mimi's growth, just everything related to mommy content. And I can definitely admit that I have been touch and go when it comes to mommy content. So I am here to compensate you guys with an official life update and just how life has been raising a toddler. So if this is something that interests you or you might enjoy this video, make sure that you do like, you comment, and of course you do subscribe. Let's get right into this video. Okay, so I'm going to really go with the flow in terms of this subject, because there have been so many changes, so many milestones. Mimi is like what, 20 weeks this weekend, 20 weeks. So we're heading really close to 2 years old, which a lot of people call terrible twos, but I consider them terrific twos. Okay, there's so much that has happened. I myself have grown in so many ways as a mother, and raising a toddler is quite something. I'm gonna really go off the bat and just share with you guys, especially going from where I ended things off in terms of like my mom process and how that journey has been. Moreover, I can start off by saying that it's really been a pleasant journey. I think raising my daughter is part of the things in my life that I can never get enough of. Like, I can never really get tired of being my mother's daughter. My daughter's mother. Mimi has grown in ways that are inexplainable, actually. I can really, guys, okay, let me talk about how motherhood has honestly been. Let's start there. So motherhood has really been quite pleasant, honestly. I won't lie, it has been difficult. You guys have been with me throughout my journey, actually, so you guys know how it's been when she was like under a year, and then we transitioned into her first birthday, which was a huge deal. Unfortunately, I couldn't vlog the celebration. I'll definitely make sure that I vlog her second birthday. I will definitely do that. And like, guys, it was so overwhelming. Like, I couldn't really gather everything. Like, it was a lot. But yeah, it was such an amazing and beautiful celebration, and from then onwards Mimi just kept growing. Mimi started walking at 11 months, and everything happened so organically, actually, when it comes to my daughter. Her baby teeth grew so quickly. Mimi has a full set of baby teeth, and whenever we come across someone in town, people are always in awe of that, because they're like, what? And I know that, okay, definitely understand that children differ, and raising children differs from mother to mother or parent to parent. So it's never really, there's not really a formula. There isn't a formula when it comes to raising a child, you guys. But as I was saying, Mimi really grew so organically from when she started crawling to walking, and then when she hit her first birthday, it was literally just an uncontrollable, overwhelming, and yet so beautiful element of growth. Mimi is now fully developed, in my opinion. Every day she's growing. She's super tall. Okay, like, Mimi is the tallest baby in our family. I can definitely say that. I've grown in so many ways raising a child, especially, when you're unmarried and you are young. There's so much that you're still trying to achieve for your own self. And I can definitely say, and I think I've expressed this a few times in my channel, that it has been one of the difficult things, to navigate. Like, I know there's so many things that I want to be doing, and sometimes I would be so insecure about raising a child that I would feel like it's not enough. And I would feel like I should be doing more, I could be doing more, there's so much that I want to achieve, not really appreciating and embracing where I am. And I've literally done the biggest thing in my life, and that is raising my child. My mom always says this to me, that I take for granted that I actually asked this for God when I was still pregnant, that I wanted to be present for my daughter. Like, I wanted to be here for every step, and guess what? I have been here. So it's definitely something that I have grown out of, because like I said, I used to feel like I'm not doing enough, or I should be doing more. But funny enough, my life before my daughter wasn't really that great than it is right now, and I know probably every parent says that, but I kid you not, you guys, I had a good life pre-motherhood, but the value that I have right now, like whenever I'm having a bad day or whenever I'm worried about anything, my daughter's the one thing in my life that I am certain of, that I know it's going to be a continuous journey of growth and betterment. Like, I know for certain that there's so much of a beautiful life that I'm going to offer my kid. So I rest assured, like, regardless of what my plans are or what I'm hoping to be or what I'm trying to achieve, I can rest assured that I'm going to give my child the best life. And I know that I've already set that as a tone in her life. So yeah, I definitely feel like that. And you know, the biggest thing for me, and like, again guys, there's no formula when it comes to raising a child. Everyone it differs from person to person, but I can definitely say that raising a toddler has a lot to do with intention. I think you really have to be intentional when you're raising a child, and actually outline the life that you want to give for them, the type of teachings that you want them to take away from you. I think at this age that my daughter is in right now, where she's like leaning towards 2 years old, she's literally a sponge. Like, kids are a sponge at this age. When they become toddlers, they're absorbing every information, they're watching everything you're doing, and they're mimicking everything. So you have to really be intentional about the kind of things that you want to expose to your kid. And so I made it a point to be intentional about wanting to give my daughter a better life and a better upbringing. But I made it intentional to give my child a life that is filled with love, it's filled with compassion, it's filled with just a gentle touch. You know, I really wanted to, if I ever come across anything, guys, pertaining to motherhood and stuff like that, that's why intention is really important, because there's so much information out there. There is so much information about raising a child, what steps to take, so intention comes with how much research you're doing, how much investment you're doing in your own kid, in your own life, in the type of environment that you're showing your child. So because I'm intentional, I go as far as doing research, guys. I go as far as watching these cartoons, like reading your kid books, like singing along with Zinto. Like, I know that sometimes as us African people, we kind of take things as they come. We're always like, oh, you're gonna feel it, you know. You call that element as like African people, where you're just like, no, just let it happen naturally, or your elders will guide you. But I think the internet and all this information is there for a reason. Like, it's there for us to open our lives and our perspectives to different ways of living and different ways of raising children. So you have to really be intentional in that sense. Mimi is raised in a co-parenting system, so I know that the typical nuclear way of raising a child, which is considered the best way to raise a child, is if it's like a nuclear family structure where it's like mommy and daddy. But I know that my daughter doesn't have that. So okay, she will have that, but it might not happen the way that it's supposed to happen organically. Like, I know I'm trying to be political about this, you guys. I'm trying to be very careful, but like Mimi was born out of wedlock, and like her dad and I are co-parenting, so that's not a typical organic family structure, especially in an African home. So those adjustments have to be intentional. Like, her father and I have to be intentional about wanting to give her a healthy upbringing, and that means us creating a healthy co-parenting relationship. So that you really have to put in the time and the effort. You can't just take them as they come, because that's how you get every other thing that influences you, and then in turn it becomes about you, and it's really not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be about the beautiful person that you brought into this world and just grooming them into being the best version of themselves and to being a better person in society. I know this all sounds like a westernized fairy tale, like la la la, everyone should serve a purpose, but that's the reality. Like sometimes you really have to look at life that way. I remember when I was pregnant and I was having the conversation of like, should I keep my child or shouldn't I remember talking to my best friend then, and I was like to her, I feel like I remember praying to God for a purpose, and then I got pregnant. And I'm not saying that okay, every pregnancy is your purpose, but I found it very, I don't want to say coincidental, because I also don't think God works like that, but I felt like I understood that I have to have this child, I have to have this part of my life, because I feel like I asked God for something meaningful and he gave me that. Because 2019 I went back to school, guys, like I didn't really know what to do with my life, and so having a child was something that I felt like this is what I needed, like this is what I wanted. I won't lie, it wasn't easy, it really wasn't easy. A lot has happened, I've let go of a lot, I've learned a lot to get to a point where I am right now, which is probably quite a very peaceful state. Like I'm very peaceful where I am, and that's because I had to accept this chapter. I had to accept this part of my life, and so the peace that I have now is the peace that I want to welcome her into. So I hope I'm making sense with all of this. So yeah, that's basically how motherhood has been for me. I'm very, very grateful for her. She's literally my best friend, you guys. And in terms of her milestones and her growth, child, I don't want to say my daughter is the smartest kid, but I'm just saying. Okay, I've made a intentional and conscious decision to start her off with my home language. Our home language is Xhosa, and I know that may not necessarily be, you know, the best thing for somebody else, but for me, I just feel like it made sense for me to make her know that singaba Xhosa, because I know it's going to be easy for her to get into English, especially because very soon she's going to be going to preschool or daycare, and there the standard form of communication is English, so it's going to be easy for her to absorb that. And it's not to say that I'm strict on Xhosa, because we do sing-alongs, we play our Cocomelon, we know that that is purely English, and so I'm just mixing things up for her to know that this is your culture, this is how we speak, but there's also this form of communication. But obviously as she grows older, she'll get a better understanding of languages and cultures and stuff like that. Mimi is definitely bright in terms of like learning her language. There's so many words that Mimi can tell me anything. Mimi can tell me that she's tired, that she wants her bottle, that she wants meat, and she loves meat. So she's very expressive. That's another thing that I'm really, really in love with about her. She's someone who can say no, and I mean no. That word she's very, very comfortable with. Like she could definitely say nope, andifuni, and I think I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can see that I'm raising an independent child. She is a very loving kid. I know sometimes I feel bad that she hasn't started primary school, because when I see her with other kids, she lights up. She loves other people, other kids. She's always like, mama, nago papa. So I can't wait to expose her to more of the world, and I think I want to actually start bringing you guys with me in terms of like the practical parts of raising Mimi, because I know that sometimes I'm very open about how much I share about my family, myself and my daughter, but I feel like I haven't really showed you guys like how it has been raising her, and I hope that this video will be like an introduction to more of that. But yeah guys, I've really been intentional about raising my daughter and making her an independent, communicative, expressive little being, and that's something that I'm really extremely proud of. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of like difficulties and stuff like that, I will say that, you know, there are quite a lot of adjustments that are required when it comes to raising a child, because I'm not gonna lie, hey, like for starters, when they become toddlers, Okay, Mimi is fiddling with everything. I made a cute post on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, where I sort of like joked about the fact that Mimi wants to play with everything but her own things. Mimi doesn't want to play with toys. She wants to play with people's shoes, laptops, cameras, cell phones, the DSTV, the remote. She wants to play with everything that isn't hers, and I know that's quite overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna romanticize because so that's also something that you have to be intentional about, because discipline has to then come into the picture, where your kid has to learn wrong from right, how what she's supposed to do and what she isn't supposed to do. Because that's another thing, guys, like ultimately ukhula komntwana is dependent on you. I don't really believe that there are bad children or good children, like bad children, good children. I don't really want to believe in that type of system, but I think there's a certain grooming and like a disciplinary structure that you have to implement your child into, and that way you're able to manage how they express themselves. Because kids with tantrums, who throw tantrums, are just, I guess, struggling to express themselves. And I think, okay, every child, guys, throws a tantrum. Let's not make it seem like it's a special thing, but sometimes it's really just a matter of how to teach your child to communicate. So those are things, again, that you learn off the internet, guys. Those are things that you learn by following bloggers, by following young moms on social media. Those are things that I, back in the day, never thought that would be how I raised my kid, and I can definitely say that's not what our families are used to, but that's the type of life that we are exposed in. So you have to sort of like implement that sort of stuff, but it's also not about creating a toxic comparison. Like, you don't want to compare your life to someone else's, you don't want to compare your children to someone else's. I think it's just about learning what works for you and implementing that. You're not going to be, you know, that mommy blogger. You don't have to be. Actually, create your own space, create your own environment, create your own family structure, create your own disciplinary structure, and make sure that that works for you. Oh, another thing that I can sort of like share with you guys, but as I said, the more I do videos on motherhood content, you guys can see the practical side of it. But I can definitely say that creating routines and like making everything pleasant for your children is definitely a huge step in putting in the things that you want your child to learn. Like, I know these things, they seem like they don't matter, but it's so much better, because I'm a young mom, and I guess when you are a young parent, it's easier for you to implement this sort of like fun way of teaching your child years to know, sleeping time and all of that stuff. And I know but they are important. Like, you really just do your research, like I said, and you learn these small things of like creating a routine. Fortunately, I'm someone who really does fusses about like habit and like routine and structure, so it made a lot of sense for me to then introduce my daughter to that type of life, where I know this is the time that we're sleeping, these are the songs, like baby, like bedtime stories that we listen to, like the lullabies that we play, and like when it's time to eat, or like her like when we wake up in the morning, the songs that we sing when she's brushing her teeth, like trying to make everything fun and like welcoming for her. And these are things that I'm not gonna, no shade to how our parents did it, but these are things that I can definitely say that maybe our parents didn't really have a format when it comes to introducing this sort of stuff. Like, sort of some things you sort of like had to learn along the way, and was sort of like obligated to do them. Like, you have to brush your teeth, that's just how life is, you know. And I think making these things fun from a very young age, our children will grow into them. Like, our children will grow knowing that you brush your teeth twice a day, you sleep at this time of the day, you drink water, you have your fruits, you have your veggies. Those are things that you have to introduce, guys. And I mean this because I, coming from a purely African home, we had to learn these things along the way. And fortunately, the age that we're in now, I think a lot of young people have expressed how, I think, stiff our upbringing has been, you know. Like, our minds really had to open on their own. And I think I know that this generation is going to raise amazing children, and I know that there's a narrative that we're going to be raising softies, la 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 la. I don't really think I believe that. I think, again, it's all about the person that you're trying to make your child become. So you can teach, guys, principle, you can teach discipline, but it doesn't have to be this forced and like unoriginal, rigid way, you know. I think if you it's important to create a soft landing for umntana wako, guys. It's important from a young age for your child to feel comforted and not obligated to do and become a certain way. So I'm being intentional about how I'm raising my child. I'm not perfect, and again, it's not really about that, because guys, it's man on its own when it comes to raising a child or life in general, you know. I'm always welcome to taking tips, but I also know where I draw the line. Ultimately, do the thing that is safe for your child and for you. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have to share today. I hope you guys really did enjoy this mommyhood update, and please look forward for more. I have so many ideas about like this type of content, like brain stimulation, like I said, finances, but we'll get into that in my next videos. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section if you guys really enjoyed this video and what more you would like to learn. And yeah, share it if you care. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.